ever wanted a Leica camera that you could take on a motorcycle trip, mount it on the front of a motorcycle and go, jump out of a plane, you know, run a marathon with it, maybe go deep sea diving? Can't do it with an M11, can't do it with an SL3, can't do it with a Q343, but you can do it with the Insta360 ACE Pro 2, which is essentially the most Leica action camera that you can get today. This has more Leica features inside of it than any other cameras before because they've been partnering with Leica for a period of time. This is one of the OG ones right here. This is the 1RS. This is like vintage action cam, if you want to call it that, man. A few years old, but it's like vintage. Really good camera though. Actually really, really nice. That was my first. Second right here, the Go 3. Love this little bad boy here. Very small, very compact. Can put it onto a pendant, on a hat. You can walk around with this thing. It's really nice. But this is the big boy. This is what everybody's talking about right now. By the way, this video is sponsored by Insta360, but these are my thoughts and my thoughts only. They're just looking at my footage that I shot with this camera to make sure that the frame rate and, you know, everything was copacetic. But outside of that, these are my opinions. I'm going to be comparing it against the Action 5 Pro from DJI, which is a camera I was personally excited to try as well because I'm a huge fan of DJI. I use their mics a lot for my outdoor shoots and their drones, and I've used their gimbals. I mean, DJI is DJI. And they also own Hasselblad too, which makes pretty good cameras. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're pretty good. I was excited to try this out, and I have to say both of these cameras are really, really good. But there are going to be some strengths and weaknesses in each. But with that, let's get down to talking about the design on the ACE Pro 2. Now, in terms of the design, I did not have the ACE Pro. So this is a whole new design language for me. Yes, it's quite similar to the Go 3 in terms of the flip-up display. But outside of that, I was extremely impressed at how durable and robust this camera is. It just feels very solid. It does have some weight to it, but it feels very, very solid. And that was the first comment I made when I took it out of the box, is just how beautiful it is made. It looks. And you've got this lens that you can actually turn off. Yeah, you can turn that. It's really tight to take it off, by the way, but you can do it. Ah, there you go. You can remove the lens now, which you probably couldn't on the ACE Pro. That's what I saw online. A lot of people are complaining about that, but you can fix that now and turn it back on there, and you can put filters on all this stuff because we've got the filter pack here. We've got this new speaker here, this new microphone, which they are touting it to be the best out of any action camera. And we've got some tests to show you how good it is. I was very impressed, but the design of it looks absolutely awesome. The doors you can remove if you want to do that. You've got your SD card and USB-C port here. And then on the other side, you have your battery door there. So you put your battery inside of that. So, and they're sometimes a little harder to get off, but that's good because you don't want these things to just pop off just easily. Oh, Bobby. There we go. There's the battery door. See, you want it to be secure, and it is. The buttons on these also feel really good, by the way, the power button and the record button. I will tell you, when you're riding a motorcycle with the glove, it's a little bit tough to get these to activate. You got to almost kind of press twice and really press down with your glove, but we'll talk about that in just a bit when we get to motorcycle riding. On the front of it, you got a display that it is not a display that you can actually see yourself. That is where you would flip up the rear display and actually record like that. Now, this is good because you get to see the full field of view. Whereas on the Action 5 Pro, for example, you do see your face, but you don't see the surrounding areas. Pretty much just your face and that's it. Obviously, you want to make sure that you're in focus. That's important. But it's good to see your framing, especially if you want to capture multiple people. If you want to capture, let's say, mountains or scenery behind you, you can do that with this, and it's going to be a lot easier. See how solid that locks in? Very, very solid. And this stays. You see how it stays? This stays very well. The Action 5 Pro, let's talk about that right now here for a second. The Action 5 Pro is a overall smaller footprint of a camera. You may prefer that. Now, if you do, you do. I will say that I thought I would prefer it, but I love the versatility of that rear display. With that said, though, you do have a front display where you actually can see yourself as you're recording. As I mentioned, you're not going to see the full field of view, but you can see your face, which I think for some people out there, if you want to make sure that you're in focus, you want to make sure that everything looks good lighting-wise, this is a nice option. Hopefully, I hope Insta360 in the future, maybe for an ACE Pro 3, will put a display in the front of it. So at least you can see it because it's just numbers and information. But once you're recording, you're not really looking at that stuff anyway. So it actually would be good to have a display. My personal opinion. Anyway, on the side of it, though, you do have your door here, just like very similar to the Insta360, which is also very hard to get out, by the way. Or am I just having a hard time tonight recording this video? Probably just me. Being me? Oh, no, it's the opposite way. There we go. We got your two battery doors though. You got your USB-C port and you have your battery inside of this. Now you do have internal storage inside of this, which is quite cool. 64 gigabytes of internal storage, which means if you forget your micro SD card, you still can use this. With the Insta360 ACE Pro 2, there's no internal storage on that. Hopefully they will add that in the future. But what I do is I leave the card inside of it. I got a 256 gigabyte card. I leave it inside and I just plug it in USB-C to the computer, to my phone, or I just transfer wirelessly. I don't even take the card out, to be honest with you. There's really no need for it. Weight-wise, the ACE Pro 2's got, it's a heavier camera overall for sure. They have pretty much the same sensor. This is slightly faster aperture at 2.6. This is f2.8. So low light, you're going to see a little bit of a difference. We'll talk about that in just a second. Battery life on this is really good, up to 180 minutes. You can quick charge it as well. I would say the DJI probably has a little bit better battery life, but because you shoot 8K with this, the battery life is going to drain a little bit more. And I had these running side by side throughout the day, the other day, and I was going, we're in Singapore heat, right? And I'm going to speak Celsius for you guys for a second here. It was about 35, 36 degrees Celsius in the day, no clouds outdoors. And when you're talking, that's in the day. I'm riding on the roads. So you're talking about 40 plus based on the sun hitting the motorcycle, the metal, all that coming into play. I had no issues in terms of overheating or anything like that. But I mean, if you say the best battery life, probably the DJI Action 5 Pro, but this is a very, very close second. They both have their benefits to each of them. And by the way, the bottom of these cameras now, which I actually like, and different from these, is that you have this magnetic lock here. So you can put this clip here, then you can just slide that bolt through and lock it in. And it's very, very secure. As a matter of fact, I rode with my motorcycle with this and it did not come off. It's really solid. And DJI has the same thing. A little slightly different design, but the same concept right there, and it locks in place as well. So that's pretty much the design of these cameras. Let's talk about the features. The Insta360 ACE Pro 2 will shoot to 8K 30p, which is the highest resolution out of any action camera on the market thus far. 8K is really nice, especially if you want to crop in and zoom in. I know a lot of people online are saying, well, I don't really shoot 8K, I just shoot 4K. Yes, I get it. But if you do shoot 8K in good lighting, you have more flexibility in your post, right? You can crop in, you can zoom in, you got all these attributes that you can play around with 8K that you can't with 4K respectively. With that said, if you're going to go into pure video mode, which is the night mode on this, you can only shoot in 4K with that, up to 4K 60. So keep that in mind. But I like 8K. I'm shooting 8K once in a while for this channel here, and I actually enjoy it, especially if I want to zoom in on a product. 8K is where it's at. The Action 5 Pro only does 4K, up to 4K 60, I believe it is. So yeah, this is going to win in the resolution department. With that said, let's get into photography for a second. Why not? It's a Leica camera. We got to talk photography.
Wait, you mean you take an action camera and you shoot photos?
Yes, you do. And by the way, if I may say so, this takes some pretty nice photos. I mean, considering the size of the sensor and that it's an action camera, it's impressive. 50 megapixel, DNG, JPEG, very sharp, really good dynamic range, surprisingly good. I'll show you in Lightroom compared to the DJI camera, how they, look in photos, and you can definitely see the difference. And there's something interesting that I like about this too. So you can actually use Leica colors in this if you want to, Leica Natural or Leica Vivid respectively. And I didn't do that for the photos because you're shooting in DNG. But as you can see from this sample video here, me just kind of editing and showing you the dynamic range and kind of just doing a little bit of a color grade to my car here, this looks pretty damn good. And the detail out of this lens and camera system compared to the DJI, I get it. Action cameras are not meant to be taking photos with. But if you want to take a photo, I would opt for the ACE Pro 2 because it's versatile. Because here's the thing, right? When you got Leica on your camera, you better take some decent photos. Leica's all about photos, right? Sometimes the cameras may not be the fastest cameras out there, but when it comes to image quality and photos, they know what they're talking about. And you got to hear with this. Yeah, this was okay with photos, nothing wow. Again, more like a snapshot, decent. It's 48 megapixels versus 50 megapixels, but then you get about, I think it's a 40 megapixel image out of this. It's okay. But if you're into photography, this is the camera that you want to get. Plus you can use Leica colors, natural and vivid. Quite cool. You can even shoot your video that way too if you want to do that. Okay, outside of that though, you can also shoot in log, iLog, and also log with the DJI. Now here is where Insta360 did tell me they are working on their log profile right now, so I'm not going to dive deep into that. But I will just say that out of the gate, first day, yes, DJI probably has an edge when it comes to log. They've been doing this for quite some time with their drones and with their, pocket cameras, et cetera, et cetera. So I think they've got the log thing down pretty well pat in terms of, grading, colors, all that stuff, how you can actually work with the file. Insta360s, this is the first time we're seeing log in an action camera from them. So give them some time. They're very aggressive on their updates, and I foresee them really coming close to DJI in the near future. At least that's what I've been told, that they're working on log. So I'm not going to dive deep into it, but we'll wait for the updates. Now let's talk about sound and audio quality, because with an action camera, you want really good audio quality, or at least you hope to get it. Now with the DJI Action 5 Pro, you can actually use the DJI mics and sync it up to this and get some decent audio out of it. Out of the camera, it's pretty okay. But Insta360 is saying they put the best microphone out of any action camera on this. And so when they say something like that, I'm going to test it out. And they weren't lying. It's pretty good. Actually, it's more than pretty good. It's actually really good. If you want to vlog with this thing, you can do that. If you want to use a little bit of AI software after the fact and sort of just, reduce any sort of outdoor noise, you can do that as well. It's also built into this. And so what I did is I actually went to Changi Airport here in Singapore. Jewel is our Terminal 1. It's the big water fountain. You guys have probably seen videos and photos of this from many different tourists. It's on TikTok and all over the place, right? It's loud inside there. You got people talking, there's music, there's a water fountain. So I took both of these cameras there, put onto this little monopod, and I just did a little bit of vlogging test with audio, and let me know what you think. This was on voice enhanced, by the way, because you can do that on this camera. There is not many audio options out of this, so it's pretty much straight out of camera, but you can see the difference, and let me know what you guys think right after this. All right, guys, so we're doing an audio test here with voice enhancement on the ACE Pro 2 with the inbuilt microphone. My Changi Jewel, so we got a water fountain behind me, and we got people around and music. Now we're testing the audio out of the Action 5 Pro, and to see how this sounds, obviously, again, right here at Changi Jewel, people behind me, music's playing. How does this pick up? Now, of course, you can use the DJI mic too. As you heard, the DJI was a little bit louder in terms of background noise. The Insta360 does reduce the background noise a little bit. The resonance out of the voice could be a bit better, but again, it was so loud. There was so many outside forces coming into play. It does a really good job of isolation. So again, if you really want to clean up your audio professionally, there's many tools online to do so. But if you just need something in a pinch out of camera, this is the one to go for. And if you heard the standard audio, this is really good resonance, really good audio quality, tonal quality coming out for the voice. And as I mentioned earlier, you can vlog with this, no issues at all. So now we're doing an audio test out of the DJI Action 5 Pro. So let me know what you guys think in terms of the audio based on the Insta360 ACE Pro 2. Now, they're saying that and now we are in the Insta360 standard color looks. As you can tell, just looking at the display myself, I can see that the sky isn't necessarily as blue, more of a sort of a light pastel bluish tint. By the way, there is another cap here. There's a special wind cap you can put on top of this. So if you want to, take it underwater, you don't want to, you want to reduce wind noise even further outside of what it's got inside in terms of AI settings, you can put this cap onto it and do that. By the way, speaking of which, we're going to move into motorcycle vlogging, which I'm a big fan of. I've always wanted a good motorcycle vlogging kit. And one of my pain points over the years was trying to figure out how to get the camera, then get the right microphone inside the helmet to make this all work. And if you were like me and you sort of just gave up, I watched a lot of YouTube videos, but I just couldn't quite figure it out. I think we got a solution here with the ACE Pro 2. And a couple reasons. First and foremost, you can connect this to your Cardo, which I actually have here on my Shoei X14. So not all Cardos, but some of the more newer ones, you can connect to this via Bluetooth to this, and you can actually get 2-channel audio. So you can get the engine audio coming out and also the voice audio, and you can mix it in post to get some really good moto vlogging, which is something I want to do on this channel, by the way, because I love motorcycle riding, but it's really hot in Singapore. And when I tested this out, it was boiling hot outdoors. Anyway, I'm going to show you, run some sample footage outdoors during sunset with both of these cameras. This was on the front, this was on my chin, and you get a slightly different field of view, but you're going to see in terms of the audio quality and the video quality as well. And we're going to run that for you right now. As you can see right there, the audio quality from the Insta360 is going to be, it suppresses the wind noise quite a bit, and it sounds natural, it sounds nice. So if you want to do a voiceover, you're not fighting the speakers. Now in the Action 5 Pro, unfortunately, don't have that quite yet. So it's going to sound very loud and very noisy because of the wind. Now again, obviously you can tweak things in post, but out of camera, this is going to pick up more wind noise. And also, if you notice the footage there, I would give the footage in terms of image quality to this camera as well, because I think that just the way that it looks, the motion blur that you can add into it versus with AI, the Insta360 Studio software, all that comes into play. It looks really, really good. This camera does pretty well, but it does tend to over sharpen and over HDR, give an HDR vibe to the image a little bit too much, in my personal opinion, and you can't tone it down. I think when you shoot in log, it tones down, but when you're shooting just in standard profile, it's there. Hopefully they come up with an update to fix this because I feel it's a little bit too aggressive. This is kind of right there in the middle. There's a little bit of that, but not too much. You can turn off HDR if you want to do that inside the camera, which is nice, especially if you're going to be shooting anything that's cinematic and you want it to look a little bit more film-esque. You don't want that the crazy dynamic range. That's where you can turn off the HDR, really get a nice sort of B cam, C cam look, especially if you're going to be shooting action stuff. So I would give the edge to that. Now, let's talk about night video, because this is where the ACE Pro 2 blew me away. Now, I've seen the ACE Pro, the videos on YouTube, and it's good, right? Pure video, absolutely awesome. I had to try it for myself, though. So I went 4K 30. And I did a bit of a night ride here in Singapore, got onto the highway. And as you're seeing from the footage right now, these cameras are recording at the same time. The colors, the clarity, the detail out of the Insta360 is fantastic. This is not bad, okay? But you do see a lot more noise creeping in. You do see that the image looks a little bit more pixelated. This is really, really well done. Really well done. I mean, I was pretty shocked by it, by the way, and I wasn't expecting it. And I was shooting in lower light situations on the highway. And yeah, the pure video setting in this, it's legit. No joke. No joke. You got to give it to Insta360 on that. They really know how to do low light. So my overall thoughts on the cameras in terms of performance, there's so much you can do with these cameras, right? I mean, you can sync it up to your Apple Watch, your Coros watch, your Garmin's. You can use it as a dash cam. There's so many things you can do with the system, right? I mean, from what this camera started off with a few years ago to this is night and day. It's night and day. And I'll be honest with you, I was slightly intimidated to do this video because there's just so much you can do with this. So what I thought is, for this first video, overview, talk about some of the things I experienced with it. And then as the weeks and months progress, I get more into moto vlogging and trying different things. I'm really going to put this through its paces because I'm excited actually to play with this thing. When I played with this, I liked action cameras, but I was like, it's a lot of work. This makes the work a lot easier, especially with the accessories they have now, which I'm going to talk about in just a bit, but this makes it a lot easier and a lot more fun. All right. With that said, let's talk about some accessories here for a moment. So the cool thing with the Insta360 is you're probably thinking, if I want to shoot vertical video, how do I do that? Can I mount it? And the answer is yes, there's an L bracket here and it's very simple. Just kind of lock it in, magnetize it in. You take your clip here and there you have it. There is your L bracket right there. So I'll do a close-up on that so you can actually see what it looks like there. But this is really well made, well constructed. This is locked in, very secure, it stays in place, and it's gonna be great for vertical video if you want to do that. Instagram, TikTok, you know the drill, right? So there's your vertical mount. Now, they have come out with a cage for this thing made by Small Rig. It's lightweight, but this is probably the best cage I felt on any action camera, man. This is absolutely awesome. Maybe it came with the ACE Pro. I never had the ACE Pro, but I mean, this thing, oh man, it's a work of art, man. Small Rig knows what they're doing. So does Insta360. This is their sort of utility cage. You've got cold shoe mounts here on the side, on the top. You've got, you also got this piece here, so you can actually bolt this on if you want a little bit more security, if you're worried about this possibly coming off. It won't, but if you're worried about it, you can bolt this on here and then you can click, lock it into any sort of motorcycle mount, helmet mount, whatever you have. It's very, very secure. And there's tools inside that come with this so you can really lock it in tight. But this is a very nice cage, guys. It does add a little bit more weight to the whole setup. I had this on the front of my helmet and I really felt it on the front of my helmet. Once I took this off, it did lighten the load a little bit, but if you want security, you want to protect your camera, this works well. And you still can move the display up and down on the back of that. So very, very nice. They did a great job with that. And by the way, if you want to do vertical video, you can do that as well by clicking it there, because small rig, Insta360, they know what they're doing with time. Outside of that though, we got the battery case here. This is brand new for the Insta360 ACE Pro 2 batteries. They sent this out to me, very, very nice, because DJI actually has a battery case as well. Theirs is a little bit smaller, and you can put 3 batteries inside of this, by the way. Outside of that though, we've got a card reader for this. We've got a microphone port. If you want to use an external mic lab, you can do that as well. USB-C port there is to connect it. We've got a case. We've got the Freewell V&D filters if you want to get some more cinematic shots and make sure that your motion blur, all that's in point. Not using AI, you can use that. We've got the motorcycle U-bolts here to hook up the action arms. We've got rear view mirrors. We've got the motorcycle bundle here. I mean, they've sent me so much stuff to test out, man. It is absolutely amazing. Action sticks, monopod, you name it, man. We are locked in for the long haul with this. Anyway, let me know what you guys want to see in the comment section below. What would you like to see on this channel in terms of the ACE Pro 2, in terms of test against the Action 5 Pro or anything else? Let me know. I don't jump out of planes, so I can't do skydiving. Number 1, afraid of heights. Number 2, I don't do scuba diving, but I do jump in a pool. So if you want to see some pool action shots, let me know. Anyway, guys, with that, if you like this video, like, subscribe, follow, send it to your friends, your family members. I greatly appreciate the support. And I'll chat to you all very, very soon. Take care.